She screamed for her clan, but it was a human who answered. The air burned. Cale Ryland stumbled through the crumbling corridor of the wrecked Ark ship, every breath tasting of scorched metal and smoke. His visor was shattered. He'd ripped the helmet off minutes ago when it fogged beyond use. Now only instinct kept him moving through the inferno, rifle gripped in one trembling hand. The last evac shuttle had launched. He'd heard the call, all personnel, retreat. No survivors detected, ship integrity, 4%. But then came the scream, not over comms, not in his head, through the air itself. A sharp, raw sound that cut through flame and ruin, echoing off the steel bones of the dying vessel. A scream that wasn't human. Cale froze beneath a collapsed archway. His bloodshot eyes darted toward the sound. The scream rose again, shattering, desperate. "Ah! Clan! Clan! I call—" He surged forward. She's alive. Turning a corner, Cale burst into a long, half-collapsed chamber. Flames licked across the ceiling, tearing through once ornate banners of some alien house. The air rippled with heat, the floor strewn with debris. And in the center of it, she stood. A woman, tall, skin gleaming a rich emerald beneath soot and flickering light. Hair silver white, flowing wild around horns. Delicate spines that arched from her brow. Her arms pressed against her skull, fingers digging into her temples as she screamed toward the ceiling in pure anguish. "Clan, answer me! I am Iskala Vera. I bear the mark of the line. You cannot leave me." Cale's pulse kicked hard. A Veran. He recognized the markings, elaborate corset armor, ceremonial inlays, royal blood. She wasn't just crew. She was high caste. A Veran noble, left to die. And she was alone. Cale sprinted toward her, boots skidding on molten deck plates. The alien woman, Iskala, spun, eyes wide. For a heartbeat her gaze locked with his, pale, luminous silver eyes against the storm of flame. She staggered back, shaking her head. "No, not human. My clan. They will come." "They're not coming," Kyle said hoarsely, voice rough with smoke. "The last shuttle just cleared, the ship's breaking apart." Iskala's breath caught. Her gaze flickered, defiance warred with raw, gut-deep terror. "I cannot be taken by a human." "You can die here instead," Kyle snapped, scanning the collapsing walls. "Your choice." A deafening groan split the air as a beam collapsed behind her, raining sparks. Iskala flinched, arms wrapping around herself. Her body swayed, exhausted. Kyle stepped forward, forcing calm into his tone. "Come with me. I can get us out. You stay here. You burn." Iskala shuddered, her scream fading to broken gasps. Her eyes brimmed with tears she refused to shed. "My clan left you," Cale said softly. "But I didn't." Another tremor shook the deck. Without waiting for consent, Cale lunged forward, grabbing her arm. Her skin felt fever-hot through the armored glove. Iskala tensed to resist, then faltered, strength draining. She let out a choked sob. I cannot breathe." "Then trust me," Kyle ground out. He pulled her against him, shielding her as they ran. Together they plunged into the inferno. The emergency maintenance shaft was barely intact. Kyle slammed the hatch shut behind them, sealing out the worst of the smoke. In the dim emergency glow, Iskala sagged against the wall, clutching her chest. Her skin had taken on a deeper shimmer, a faint pulsing beneath the surface. Kyle frowned. "You're overheating," he said. "You're kind. Can't survive this temp long, can you?" Iskala blinked, defiant even through haze. "Veyrans do not admit weakness." Kyle allowed himself a dry breath. "Then humor me." He stripped off his charred vest, pulling a coolant patch from his last med kit. Peeling it open, he pressed it gently to the side of her neck. Iskala gasped, half pain, half relief. Her body trembled beneath his touch. "You are trained in our biology," she whispered. Kyle met her gaze. "I fought in the Pact Wars, spent a year on the Veyran front. I know enough." Something flickered behind her eyes. "You, our enemy." "Was," Kyle said quietly. "I'm just a scavenger now." A long silence hung between them, broken only by the hum of distant collapse. Finally Iskala spoke, voice raw. I called for my clan. I screamed, knowing they would answer. Her lips trembled. They did not. Kyle's throat tightened. They should have, he said simply. Iskala closed her eyes, shoulders shaking. One tear escaped, silver against green skin. I am alone now. Kyle knelt beside her, voice low. You're not. Not while I'm here. Iskala looked at him, truly looked this time. The firelight caught the pain and pride etched into her face. You should not care, she whispered. Kyle offered a thin smile. Guess I'm defective. Another tremor rocked the shaft. Kyle stood, offering a hand. Come on. Structural collapse in 5 minutes. We've got one way out. Iskala stared at his hand. Hesitation warred with survival. Then she took it. Her fingers twined with his, cool and trembling. Together they ran, the human and the forsaken noble, toward the uncertain light beyond the fire. The last airlock was half torn from its housing, heat-warped and flickering with unstable force fields. Kyle skidded to a stop before it, dragging Iskala close behind. His lungs burned. His grip on her was firm, part urgency, part instinct he no longer questioned. She sagged against him, breath shallow. Your suit, you are not shielded, she rasped. Kale smirked grimly. Neither are you. One more tremor shook the walls. Behind them, the shaft groaned in protest. No time. He keyed in the emergency override, fingers flying across the scorched panel. The field flickered, weak, but intact enough for one last pass. Stay close, Kyle ordered. We run on 3. Iskala's grip on his arm tightened. Pride or not, her body betrayed her. Too much heat, too little oxygen. The strange shimmer beneath her skin pulsed faster now, veins faintly glowing. Kyle, she whispered. He blinked at the sound of his name on her lips. If I fall, you won't. She swallowed hard. Do not leave me. His chest tightened. Without thinking, he leaned in, voice low and fierce. I won't. Not now. Not ever. 1 beat. 2. He triggered the field. Go! They bolted through, heat lashing at them from all sides. Kale shielded Iskala with his body as the shield flared. The deck beneath them shuddered, then gave way. They fell. Darkness swallowed them. Kyle hit the ground hard. The air punched from his lungs. For a moment he couldn't move. Then, a soft gasp beside him. Iskala! He rolled, searching. There, half-pinned beneath a fallen support beam, the alien woman writhed weakly, eyes glassy. Kale surged to her side, adrenaline roaring through exhaustion. He braced against the beam, muscles straining. Hold on! With a guttural cry, he heaved. The beam shifted, then toppled aside with a crash. Iskala lay still, chest rising in shallow bursts. But her skin, it glowed. Kyle's heart thudded. Iskala, what's happening? Her eyes fluttered open, dazed. Exposure, she whispered. We call it the Sveth bond. Without my caste shield, the heat triggers it. Kyle frowned. Triggers what? Her gaze locked with his, silver burning bright. An ancient, biological right. In presence of another life, the body adapts, bonds, survives, together. Understanding hit him like a fist. You're bonding to me? Her voice broke. Not by choice. Kale's mouth went dry. The shimmering pulse beneath her skin intensified, spreading across her chest, throat, even her lips. Her body arched faintly, breath ragged. She's burning from within. Tell me how to help, Kale demanded. Her hand reached weakly for him. Contact, she gasped. The bond requires contact, skin, proximity. It will stabilize. Kale hesitated. Every instinct screamed caution. But one look at her, alone, trembling, fire-lit, left no room for denial. I'm here, he said softly. Carefully he stripped away his scorched glove and pressed his bare palm to her cheek. A sharp gasp tore from Iskala's throat. Her body arched, then stilled, breath slowing. The glow beneath her skin steadied. Her fingers curled weakly around his wrist, holding him there. Kyle swallowed hard. You should have told me sooner. A ghost of a smile touched her lips. Pride, foolish thing. You're royalty, I get it. Her eyes searched his. Do you? Cale exhaled. I used to be a captain. Human alliance, thrown aside when I wasn't useful anymore. Her gaze softened. Then, you do understand. A long silence fell between them, broken only by distant groans of metal. Kyle forced his mind to focus. We can't stay here. He shifted, scooping Iskala gently into his arms. Her body molded against his, hot, trembling, alive. Kyle, she whispered. This changes everything. He met her gaze. Yeah, he said quietly. It does. The maintenance corridor led them deeper into the ship's buried underbelly, cooler now, but barely stable. Kyle moved fast, Iskala cradled close. Every step, he felt her pulse through the contact. Subtle, insistent. She stirred faintly, voice hushed. In my culture, a bond forged this way is sacred. Kale's brow furrowed. Sacred how? She looked away, a flush rising beneath emerald skin. It is life-mate bond, irrevocable, witnessed by the body, not the will. His heart stumbled. You mean permanent? Iskala's breath hitched. Yes. Kale swallowed. And if I let go? She met his gaze, stark and raw. My body will fail. He closed his eyes for a beat. No choice anymore. Then I won't let go, he said simply. A tear traced her cheek. You are strange, human. Kyle smiled faintly. You're not so bad yourself. Minutes stretched. The glow beneath Iskala's skin faded to a gentle thrum as the bond stabilized. But Kale's own body felt the strain, heat exhaustion creeping in. They reached a service chamber, intact enough to shelter. Kale lowered her gently onto a padded bench, still keeping one hand clasped with hers. Iskala's eyes fluttered open. You risked so much. So did you, Kyle murmured, calling for help. She laughed, a soft, broken sound. I called for my clan. I never thought a human would answer. Kyle squeezed her hand. Guess your clan lost their chance. Her breath caught. Their gazes locked, silver and storm gray, firelight flickering between them. Kyle, she whispered, this bond, it is more than life, it is a promise. He leaned closer, voice low. Then I promise, I'm not leaving you. Tears shimmered in her eyes. This time she let them fall. For the first time in hours, silence reigned. The tiny service chamber felt like a cocoon amid the wreckage. Faint emergency lights cast a pale glow across the scorched walls. The air was cooler here, barely breathable, but safe enough for now. Kale leaned against the wall, muscles aching, skin raw. His fingers still curled around Iskala's, her emerald hand entwined with his. The glow beneath her skin had stabilized, a faint pulse that resonated softly between them. She lay beside him, head resting lightly against his shoulder. Every so often her body would tremble, a residual shiver from the bond's forced activation. Kyle closed his eyes, letting the exhaustion wash through him. How long will this bond hold? He asked quietly. Iskala's voice came soft, almost hesitant. It will deepen, over hours, days. She shifted, fingers tightening faintly. The more time, the more permanence. Kyle exhaled slowly. And if we break it? Her breath caught. Pain, damage, death, if too soon. A long silence stretched. Kyle looked down at her, at the noble lines of her face now etched with vulnerability. You didn't want this, he said softly. She lifted her gaze, silver eyes shimmering. No. A pause. But neither did I wish to die alone. Kyle nodded. Me either. Time blurred. They shared water from Kale's emergency flask, rationed every drop. The air thinned, but Iskala seemed steadier now, though the contact between them remained constant, as if her body demanded it. At one point, Kale shifted slightly. Her breath hitched, fingers clutching hard. Don't, she whispered. He stilled. I'm here. Her grip loosened slightly, but her eyes stayed locked on his. "You do not understand," she said quietly. "Vayrens, we are not meant to bond beyond our caste." Cale frowned. "Why not?" She swallowed. "Purity, tradition, the bloodline, must remain untouched." He let that settle. "And now?" Her voice cracked. "I am bound to a human, shamed. If we live, I will be cast out." Cale's jaw clenched. "That's wrong." Her gaze searched his. "Perhaps, but it is truth." Cale looked away, jaw tight. Old anger flickered, against all the rigid systems he'd fought, all the walls that kept people apart. "You didn't choose this," he said quietly. "You survived." Iskala's eyes glistened. "I called for my clan," she whispered. "But you answered." Kyle's chest tightened. Without thinking, he brushed a strand of silver hair from her cheek. Her breath caught, then steadied beneath his touch. A beat of silence passed, heavy with something unspoken. Later, as the dim lights flickered, Iskala spoke again, voice distant. "I was to be joined," she whispered. Kyle looked at her, brow furrowing. "Joined?" She nodded faintly. "An arranged bond. Political, not of choice. My family's will." Kyle exhaled. "You didn't want it." A bitter smile touched her lips. "No, the male was cruel, entitled. But I had no voice." She looked away, shoulders tense. "I came aboard this ship to flee." Kyle's eyes widened. "You ran." "Yes." Her voice broke. "I sought refuge, but my family pursued me. When the attack came, they abandoned me." A tear slid free. "Left me as lesson." Kyle's throat tightened. "They don't deserve you," he said roughly. Her gaze flicked to his. "And you? Why do you fight still? You could have fled." Kyle looked down, fingers tightening around hers. "Because I've run enough," he said softly. "I lost my unit, years ago. Left behind by command. Spent too long blaming myself." He met her gaze. "Couldn't watch it happen again." Iskala's breath trembled. "You have honor." Kyle's mouth quirked in a tired smile. "Or a thick skull." A faint laugh escaped her, a fragile, beautiful sound. Another tremor shook the walls. The distant groan of the ship reminded them time was short. Kyle checked his beacon, signal barely registering. Rescue was unlikely. He looked at Iskala. "We need to move soon. Find an escape path." She nodded faintly. "I will follow." He hesitated. "Are you strong enough?" She looked up, silver eyes fierce despite weariness. "With you, yes." Kyle smiled, something warm flickering beneath the fatigue. "Then we'll do it together." As they prepared, Kyle removed a tattered strip of cloth from his gear, wrapping it gently around their joined hands. "For stability," he said gruffly. "And to remind us, no letting go." Iskala's lips parted in a soft breath. "You understand more than most." Kyle met her gaze. "I understand you," he said quietly. Her fingers curled around his. "Then, perhaps this bond is not shame." A pause. "Perhaps it is choice." Kyle's heart beat faster. "Mine is," he said softly. "I chose this the moment I heard you scream." A tear traced her cheek. "Then I choose too," she whispered. And beneath the flickering lights, Human and Veyron clasped hands, not as enemies, but as something new. The service corridor ended at a reinforced hatch, half sealed by debris. Kyle set Iskala down gently, drawing his knife. "I'll clear it," he said. She nodded, silver eyes steady. As Kyle pried at the wreckage, Iskala spoke softly. "My clan will hunt me." Kyle glanced back. "You're sure?" She swallowed. "The bond. When I called, the signal reached our network. They know I live. They know with whom." Kyle's jaw tightened. "Then we move fast." The hatch gave way with a groan. Beyond lay a docking arm, partially intact, exposed to space but passable. Kyle helped Iskala to her feet. She swayed, then steadied, leaning into him. "I will not be weak." Kyle smiled faintly. "Strength's not just muscle." Together they crossed the damaged arm. The stars wheeled overhead, cold, distant. Beneath them, the ruined planet burned. Ahead, a lone skiff hung tethered, miraculously untouched. Cale's breath caught. Our ticket out. Iskala's grip tightened on his hand. But then, voices, clipped sharp, Veyran dialect. A boarding party emerged at the skiff, tall, armored figures with glowing staves. At their head stood a regal male, his gaze hard as steel. Cale recognized him from Veyran records, Lord Velkar. Iskala stiffened. "My intended," she whispered. Cale's blood ran cold. Velkar stepped forward, voice ringing. "Iskala Vera, you shame your blood." His eyes flicked to Cale. "And you, human, release her." Cale squared his stance. "She stays with me." Velkar's lip curled. "The bond is contamination. Break it or die." Iskala's voice rang clear. "I will not return." She lifted her chin. "The bond is mine to honor." Velkar's gaze darkened. "Then both of you will be cleansed." He raised his staff, energy crackling. Kyle shoved Iskala behind him, drawing his pistol. "Stay close." The fight was brutal. Kyle moved with lethal precision, every shot deliberate, but the Veyrans fought as one, disciplined, merciless. Iskala fought too, grasping a fallen staff, her movements swift despite exhaustion. Beside Cale, she was fire and grace. But they were outnumbered. Velkar advanced, sneering. "You are nothing, human." Cale met his gaze. "I'm enough." He fired. Velkar deflected, lunging. Cale blocked with his forearm, pain lancing through him. Iskala screamed. "No!" With sudden fury she struck, her staff slicing across Velkar's helm. Sparks flew. Velkar staggered, then snarled, raising his weapon again. Kyle lunged, grappling the warlord. They crashed to the deck, fists flying. Iskala rushed to Cale's side, eyes blazing. "This ends now." Together they struck, Cale's blade finding a gap in Velkar's armor. The warlord gasped, then slumped. The remaining Veyrans faltered. Iskala rose, voice ringing. "I claim right of bond. None may contest." The warriors hesitated, then lowered their weapons. Cale exhaled, chest heaving. Iskala turned to him, eyes shining. "We are free," she whispered. Cale cupped her face, voice rough. "Together." She smiled, a true, fierce smile. "Yes, together." The skiff's engines purred to life, a low hum beneath the silence. Kyle eased back into the pilot's seat, every muscle burning. Across from him, Iskala sat upright, regal even in exhaustion. Her emerald skin gleamed faintly beneath the dim cabin lights. Between them, their hands remained clasped, bound not just by necessity now, but by something deeper. Kyle exhaled, eyes flicking to the control panel. "Autonav will take us beyond their patrol range. After that, no guarantees." Iskala's voice came soft. "Then let us take each moment as it comes." Kyle looked at her, truly looked. "You fought for me," he said quietly. She met his gaze, silver eyes unwavering. "You answered my scream," she whispered. "I will never forget." A long silence stretched, then she spoke again, voice trembling. "In Veyran law, a bond forged as ours is irreversible, sacred." Kyle swallowed. "What does that mean for us?" She looked down, fingers tightening around his. "It means, I am yours, Cale, and you are mine." His breath caught. "I didn't ask for this," he said hoarsely. A tear traced her cheek. "Nor did I. But now, I choose it." Cale's chest tightened. "You choose me? Even after all this?" She smiled faintly. "You stood when my blood did not. You saw me. Not my title, not my clan. Just me." Cale leaned forward, forehead brushing hers. "And you saw me. Not a soldier, not an enemy." A beat passed, two hearts echoing in shared rhythm. Then Cale whispered, "Then I choose it too." Stars wheeled past the viewport, vast, endless. Kyle set the skiff to autopilot, then turned to Iskala. "We'll be hunted," he said quietly. She nodded. "Yes. You'll be marked. So will you." Kyle smiled faintly. "Then let them come." Iskala's eyes shimmered. "I do not fear them," she said softly. "Not anymore." Kyle reached out, cupping her cheek. "You never should have." She leaned into his touch, breath trembling. "With you, I am stronger." Cale swallowed hard. "I'll stand beside you, always." A tear fell, silver against green skin. "Then let us face whatever comes," she whispered. "As one." He drew her close, their foreheads touching. As one. The stars watched, silent witnesses to a bond no law could break, human and Varen, stronger together, forever changed.